Hey folks, want to come on here and shoot another solo episode of the podcast. I think I'm wearing the same hat as last time. I've been trying to change up the caps as much as possible. I only have so many. In saying that, if you know anyone out there that wants to sponsor the podcast as well, something on the cap or a watermark, I'm not sure which side, or a t-shirt or top, book, laptop, a book that you'd like me to read and talk about in the podcast, or a laptop and phone, other things, background, I think, maybe put something, I'm not 100% sure, but if you know anyone, a business out there that's that's open to sponsoring the show, feel free to let me know. Back into, by the way, I would love to work with someone that is similar values that I trust and someone that I could potentially work with, maybe long term. So, willing to experiment, but I'd really like to use or believe in what I'm talking about in the product. Back into the show, today's solo podcast. And by the way, I have interviews on the way. I'm just decided I have a number of topics that are just in my head or for the last while, and I want to just put them out there and see what would happen or any feedback, because over the last number of years, I've been doing things and I'm trying to figure out different frameworks on how to make things in my life repeatable. For example, for my health has been one thing, maybe for areas of my personal life, areas of my work, so career, and maybe money as well, which I won't get into right now, but because we already talked about sponsorship for the podcast or for the episode or for the upcoming episodes. But I'd like to talk about a book or a concept today. It is a book, but I suppose it's a term or concept called grit. And there's a book, and I think it's popularized by the psychologist Angela Duckworth, who I wanted to have on the show, but for a number of different reasons, which I won't get into now, maybe in the future. And here's the book. It's called Grit, and it's Why Passion and Resilience Are the Secrets to Success. Fascinating and persuasive. Malcolm Gladwell, #1 New York Times bestseller. And it's not a book review, so I won't get into the book too much. Here it is. You can buy it, read it yourself. On the back, unlock the key to success. And everyone says, what's the key to success? And I think success is people say, what is success? And I looked at it before. I think it's the ability to achieve a outcome or a goal or an outcome. So let me just look it up real quick. Excuse me. Yeah, to accomplish an aim or purpose, which is just an AI overview on Google. Let me just do ChatGPT for a sec. I'm seeing a lot of advertisements around Dublin, South Dublin anyway, for ChatGPT. I haven't been over the north side as much since I've got back from London. But yeah, the success means achieving what you set out to do. So yeah, super interesting. The whole concept of grit is the one thing that I wouldn't say it kind of covers, it's like an umbrella that covers a lot of different concepts in relation to, for me personally, into achieving success or in order to reach an outcome. I'll just read the back of the book real quick. In this must read for anyone seeking to succeed, pioneer psychologist Andrew Duckworth takes us on an eye-opening journey to discover the true qualities that lead to outstanding achievement. Winningly personal, insightful, and powerful. Grit is a book about what goes through your head when you fall down, which is super, super interesting, and how that, not talent or luck, makes all the difference. I just want to read that one more time for anyone out there that is wondering why I want to talk about grit, and I think this is the most important thing. And there's a number of things, but winningly personal, insightful, and powerful. And then it goes on to say, grit is a book about what goes through your head when you fall down, and how that, not talent or luck, makes all the difference. I think it's easy when things are going well just to keep going with the flow, but hopefully it doesn't happen again to anyone, but it's maybe not inevitable, but sometimes you have dips, and or sometimes you feel like we're on downward spirals in life, and this is a really interesting book or concept, Grit, by Andrew Duckworth. And it says, inspirational, The Economist, impressively fresh and original. Susan Cain, author of Quiet, the new self-help mantra, independent for anyone hoping to work smarter or live better. Grit is an essential and perhaps life-changing read. Daniel H. Pink. And I'll just go into, I did a bit of, before I hopped on here, I did some more research into grit, and I've listened and watched, I think, Angela Duckworth, I think it's maybe Dr. Angela Duckworth, let me just double check, I think she is content online as well, a TED Talk or a TEDx talk, and a number of different interviews when she goes into discussing the concept in length. Angela Lee Duckworth is an American academic psychologist and popular science author. She is the Rosa Lee and Egbert Chang Professor of Psychology at the University of Pennsylvania, where she studies grit and self-control. Super insightful. She's a website, angeladuckworth.com. And yeah, I think I'll link her website below. She's co-founder of Character Lab, a non-profit whose mission is to advance scientific insights that help children thrive. And then we already touched upon a lot of the other things. Co-director of Penn Wharton Behavior Change for Good initiative. Yeah, and there's a thing that pops up about mobile phones as well, which I'm kind of looking into a bit more at the moment. A landmark survey of US educators on school cell phone policies. Anyway, won't get into that. We were getting in a bit of a tangent, but grit. Let's go back to it real quick. I won't get into I don't want to, it's, by the way, it's a #1 New York Times bestseller, which I think different countries around the world, it's happened to be in America, happened to be in New York specifically, but all different, and there's actually a lot more praise for the book. It keeps going, when you open up the first 2 pages, just more references, or more people, just the first 4 pages are full of different testimonials on how incredibly important by a number of different people. Some of you may know, some of you may not know of. So I have a number of things highlighted in the book itself, but again, this isn't a review. We'll just talk about some things that I found online. Hopefully they're in the book as well. So maybe one day we'll get Dr. Angela, I believe, or Angela, on the show. Yes, she's a TED Talk, Grit, the Power of Passion and Perseverance, which hopefully I'll link as well. All going well. So grit refers to the personality trait that combines passion and perseverance toward long-term goals. And this is really important for me over the last 4 years. I don't make this too much about myself. I was on a career break for my health and well-being, a lot of different health issues. I think I was in hospital a number of different times for lots of things. It's mad. It's actually nuts in 2022. And yeah, and then after that, I was like an outpatient, which is what happens after you get admitted into hospital for a number of different reasons for like 3-4 years. But this, and even before the career break for health and well-being, which we won't get into too much, I read this book. I can't remember the date I bought this book. Maybe 2019, maybe, or 2020. We won't get into too much health stuff because we talked enough about health on this podcast so far. But grit refers to a personality trait that combines passion and perseverance toward long-term goals. Quick breakdown. Grit is sustainable effort and interest in achieving something despite challenges, failures, or slow progress. The key components, and I don't want to do disservice to the book here, but I'll just say what pops up. Perseverance of effort, consistency of interest. It's very, very fascinating. Perseverance of effort, continuing to work hard even when things get tough. Consistency of interest, staying committed to your goals over long periods rather than switching focus frequently. Origin, popularized, we already talked about this, by psychologist Andrew Duckworth, who described grit as a better predictor of success rather than talent or IQ in many situations, e.g. education, career, military training. Example, a student who struggles with math but keeps practicing daily for years until they excel shows grit. Would you like me to explain? And then scroll down. It's on ChatGPT, by the way. So I did read the book. I did promise I did read the book. Developing grit is like building a muscle. It takes time, deliberate effort, and right mindset. I don't know. And then it goes into, there is 7 different ways to strengthen it, find your purpose or find your why. I know it's maybe not wishy-washy for some, but set long-term goals, practice deliberately, intentionally on your weaknesses, working intentionally on your weaknesses. Embrace failure and discomfort, building a growth mindset. Believe that abilities can be developed through effort. Replace "I'm not good at this" with "I am not good at this yet." Celebrate progress, not perfection. A growth mindset fuels grit because it keeps you going even when success feels far away. Be consistent. Commit to daily effort. Daily effort. Even when motivation fades. Mental state, daily effort. I'm not 100% sure this in the book, so I will continue. 7, surround yourself with gritty people. The people you spend time with shape your mindset. Seek mentors, peers, or communities that encourage perseverance and discipline. Watch how they handle setbacks and learn from their example. And is this step by step in the book? It states there are 7 official steps. I think it's been a while since I read it, but this is an important concept that got me through a lot of things. And I'll talk about the one thing at the very end. I think we have a few more minutes. Angela Duckworth doesn't present 7 official steps or a numbered program. Instead, she explores 4 key components of grit, which she calls the grit formula. Hopefully I'm not overstepping. Number 1, interest. You must have a genuine passion for what you do. I think I talked about this before, about not following your passion, following fears. We already talked about fear setting on podcast 12 with Brian. 2, practice. Engage in deliberate practice to continually improve. Brian Kingston, that is. 3, purpose. Connect your work to something larger than yourself. 4, hope. Maintain optimism and resilience even when things go wrong. These 4 ideas form the core of developing grit. The step-by-step version, and then it says simply turns into themes to clear, actionable guide to help you follow. Yeah. And then, I suppose, why grit at the end of this whole concept? Why am I talking about it today? And I know I came on at the start and showed you a book, Why Passion and Resilience is the Secret to Success. I know I talked about why it's important, but I suppose there's one thing at the end. Well, I just go and read this real quick. Talent isn't enough because grit fuels achievement, because life is full of obstacles, because grit gives meaning, because grit can be developed. In short, why grit? Because it's the bridge between potential and achievement. The reason some people keep climbing when others stop. The foundation for meaningful, lasting success. And that is why grit. And that's 13 minutes. So yeah, super, super insightful, I suppose. At the back of the book, when you fall down, it's not talent or luck that makes a difference. It's grit. So just to reiterate, why grit? Because talent isn't enough. Because grit fuels achievement. Because life is full of obstacles. Because grit gives meaning. Because grit can be developed. Grit is learnable, by the way. Unlike talent, grit is learnable. In short, why grit? Because it's the bridge between potential and achievement. The reason some people keep climbing when others stop. The foundation for meaningful, lasting success. And yeah, feel free to check out. I'll do my best to link Angela's website below and her TED Talk, and yeah, maybe the book. I won't put an affiliate link, just I got a lot from the book. I need to double check when I bought it. Let me just look it up here. I buy a number of my books online, either through Amazon or Book Depository, or buy them in person. Eason's or Dubarry Books. Grits. Excuse me. Where is it? It doesn't seem to pop up, so I won't spend too long looking at. Presuming it's around 2019, 2020, 2021 is when I got this. And yeah, so if you're having a good time or having a tough time, nonetheless, I would recommend starting with this book, especially if you're having a bit of trouble achieving a outcome or result that you've been looking for a long time. Yep, here it is, folks. This isn't a book review, but feel free to check it out and have a lovely rest of your day. Thanks.